Hey guys, hope everyone's had a good weekend so far. Today is a 30-minute live agenda around what supplements you should be taking. So if you guys are new to the gym or you've got any questions around supplements, then over the next 30 minutes, I'm going to be talking you guys through what supplements are worth taking in terms of boosting your performance in the gym. So, just a quick introduction on myself if you guys have never seen me before. My name is Ross. I'm based in London. I've got over a decade of experience in the health and fitness space. So, it's my pleasure to come in here and run these live sessions where I'm sharing my knowledge and expertise in this area. So, in terms of setting some expectations over the next 30 minutes, in terms of setting an agenda, what we're going to be doing first is running through some supplement basics, so the bigger picture. We're then going to move into creatine, my thoughts of using my previous experience of using creatine. Then going to move into pre-workout. Is it helpful or is it overhyped? Protein powders, electrolytes, what to skip. So this is where you guys can save your money. And then lastly, we're going to finish up with a wrap up and a Q&A. So if you guys have got any questions whilst I'm running through, then please feel free to ask them as we go along. Also as well, guys, really helpful if you guys can like the live, engage with me during these sessions, because it is really crucial to get your feedback to ensure that you guys are getting the best out of these live sessions. Thank you very much, K28, for liking the live. Really appreciate the feedback. For anyone that is just joining slightly late, my name is Ross. I've got over a decade of experience in the health and fitness space, and it's my pleasure to come on here and share my knowledge and expertise with you in terms of supplements, what is worth taking today. So in terms of setting some expectations, firstly, I just want to say to you guys that supplements support your training and nutrition, but they don't replace them. This is one of the most key takeaways that I want you guys to think about when it comes to what you think about supplements. Supplements are great. They supplement already good, solid training and nutrition. They don't replace them. Hey, Jesse, thank you for joining. Who currently here takes at least one supplement? If you guys are currently taking one supplement, please like the live. Hi, Jesse. Hi, Feza. Thank you for joining. If you guys are taking one supplement, please put it in the chat or type a Y in the chat just to let me know if you guys are at least taking one supplement. So what we're going to move on to next is supplement basics. So the bigger picture. So what supplements can actually do. So if you guys are in the gym and you're wondering what supplements do, remember they don't replace your training or nutrition. But what they can do is they can improve your performance. They can support recovery. They can fill nutrition gaps. However, what they can't do is fix poor sleep, diet, or inconsistent training. So if we just take them one by one, and then we can start speaking about them a little bit more. Thank you, Sarah, Sil, for joining. Tanya, thank you guys for joining today, where we're going to be running through supplements basics, what is worth taking. So we're running through at the moment. Hey, Brimley. Hey, Emma. Hey, Max, Miles, thank you for joining. So what we're running through at the moment is what supplements can do. So they can improve performance, support recovery, and fill nutrition gaps. So super, super important when you think about taking supplements that you need to make sure that all of your external aspects of things are covered. If you are not sleeping 7 to 9 hours of sleep every night, if you are not having a good understanding of what you're having in terms of your nutrition, I always talk about an 80-20 rule with your nutrition. So 80% of the week you're going to be eating well, 20% of the week you're going to be having a little treat, but you're not going to blow all of that hard work that you've put in throughout the week. So supplements, great for improving performance, great for supporting recovery from those hard workouts, and fantastic if you need to fill nutrition gaps. So the 4 supplements that we're going to be talking about today is creatine, pre-workout, protein, and electrolytes. So we're going to be taking them one by one, and I'm going to be breaking down them for you nice and simple so you guys can understand. Thank you guys for joining, Basui, Joe, Rui. Thank you guys for joining and joining the live today, where I'm going to be talking about what's worth taking in terms of supplements. So we're going to be talking about creatine firstly. So from my side, creatine by far is one of the most effective supplements that you guys can use if you are doing any form of physical exercise. That could be running, that could be swimming, that could be weightlifting. If you are doing any form of exercise, regardless if it is strength training or cardio, creatine is one of the most effective supplements that you can use. It improves strength, power, and muscle recovery. And also as well, a lot of people don't know that it actually has got a lot of fantastic cognitive benefits that for your brain. So a lot of people think about it as, oh, it's just there to boost my performance in the gym. But at the end of the day, there's a lot of cognitive benefits that come with taking creatine. I know that there is a lot of information online around creatine can give you hair loss, it can give you acne, it can make you bloated. But I've been taking creatine for many, many years. And you guys can still see here that I've still got my hair. I haven't got any acne and I'm not bloated at all. So, although I actually did have acne when I was a teenager, funny enough. So, from my side, what I would say to you guys is that if you guys are thinking about taking creatine and you're reading all this research online around it's going to give me hair loss, it's going to give me acne, it's going to make me bloated. At the end of the day, obviously we're all individuals, but from my side, from taking it regularly and consistently for a good number of years, I haven't had any of those side effects. It is one of the most researched supplements in the fitness industry. I think it is the most researched supplement. So just look at all of the studies that have been taken in place in terms of creatine and performance. Thank you, Amy, for joining. Thank you, Elvis Vibes, for joining as well. Today, we're talking about supplements, what's worth taking. We're talking mainly at the moment around creatine. From my experience, it is the most proven supplement. If you guys have taken creatine in the past, or if you are still taking creatine, please let me know in the chat. What is your experience of it? Have you guys got any questions in relation to creatine? So I've spoken about what it does. So it improves strength, power, and muscle recovery. It's got some fantastic cognitive benefits for your brain. A lot of people don't know this. So even if you don't exercise, you should still take creatine. Amy, I take 3 grams a day. I reduced it from 5 grams due to holding too much water. So look, from my experience, I just take 5 grams a day. I make sure that I just still space out my water intake 2 to 3 liters throughout the day. But yeah, look, generally everyone is individual. So obviously I'm a man, so you might need to take a little bit more, and females you need to might need to take a little bit less. But from my side, what I generally take, thank you, Michael, for joining. We're just talking about creatine at the moment, is I take creatine monohydrate. At the end of the day, creatine monohydrate is by far the most effective, it's the most researched. I take 5 grams a day. You don't need to be taking 10 20 grams a day. You don't need to be doing a loading phase when it comes to taking creatine. I've done a loading phase many years ago, and all it gives you is a massively upset stomach. When you take creatine, it saturates your muscles. But realistically, all what you're doing when you're taking creatine in the loading phase is you are just saturating your muscles faster, a few weeks faster than if you were to take 5 grams of creatine each day. So Amy says, I guess being female makes a difference, plus how much you weigh. Yeah, that's correct. Yeah. So obviously it's dependent on everyone, but as a bare minimum, I reckon 5 grams a day for guys is good. And then for women, 3 to 5 grams a day, depending on obviously your size and weight. So I've spoken about creatine monohydrate. I've spoken about how much you should have each day. So 3 to 5 grams, depending if you're male or female. I generally put it in my shake in the mornings. It does not matter what time you take your creatine, as long as you have it throughout the day. The main reason why I have it in the mornings is because once I have it, I'll probably then forget about it if I then don't have it in the mornings, and then I just get on with my day. So, common myths around creatine is it causes bloating. So, look, if you are getting bloated from taking creatine, this is usually down to you're taking too much. So it goes back to what I was talking about around the loading phase. You don't need to do a loading phase. And in terms of the other reasons why you might get bloated is because you're not drinking enough water. So, yeah, and Amy is correct. Bloating lessens when you have it with food. So that is always a good tip. Another common myth for creatine is it's only for bodybuilders. You can take it, as I've mentioned, even if you don't go to the gym or exercise, because it's got some fantastic cognitive benefits. But from my side, who I think benefits the most is people who go to the gym, athletes, busy people who are generally just going about their days, who are working up the city in general. And I think for anyone that is, that is just generally, about their general health and fitness, they should be having creatine every day. So guys, if you've got any questions regarding creatine, please let me know in the comments. If you guys are finding this live helpful, please like the live, just so I know you guys have just so you guys are seeing value from the session. Thank you, Ro, for joining. So we've just covered creatine in terms of its overall benefits, how to take it, what you should take every day. The timing doesn't matter. We've then spoken a little bit around bloating. If you are getting bloated from taking creatine, you're probably taking too much. You need to make sure you're having just 3 to 5 grams a day. If you are getting bloated as well, then it could be potentially be down to a hydration issue. Also as well, you guys don't need to be having literally 2 to 3 litres of water in the mornings. You just need to space it out throughout the day. So the next supplement that I'm going to be talking about is pre-workout. So is this helpful or is it overhyped? So from my experience, from my personal experience, I actually think pre-workout is massively overhyped. I think a lot of people who are in health and fitness generally are using pre-workout to mask external factors that they are not currently utilizing at the moment. So say, for example, if they're not having good nutrition, if they're not sleeping enough at night, you can't just mask it by having pre-workout before your sessions. From my experience, pre-workout is okay. Yeah, it can give you a little buzz before your session, but I'd rather have good sleep, be hydrated, and eat something proper before I go and do my sessions. What it's not actually going to do is replace bad nutrition, bad sleep, or bad hydration. It's going to give you a little bit of a kick, but remember, it's not a magic pill. So, in terms of if you guys are thinking about taking pre-workout, from my experience, what actually I find useful or I have found useful in the past is caffeine. So obviously that comes in coffee, citrulline malate, beta-alanine. That's good with consistent use if you are using it on a regular basis. In terms of what to watch out for when it comes to pre-workout is proprietary blends, excessive stimulants, and artificial colors and sweeteners. This is super important when you're taking your pre-workout, because if you are taking it regularly throughout the week, then you need to think to yourself, if you are potentially sensitive, then this could have a kick. I'm completely with you, Amy. Have coffee instead of pre-workout. It definitely is a lot cheaper. So in terms of who should use pre-workout, it's great for people who are up early in the mornings. So if you guys can only get your sessions done super early at the crack of dawn, then early morning trainers, it's going to be good for pre-workout. And if you have low energy days, okay, that's probably one of the two things that I would say is good for. For people who should avoid taking pre-workout or limit it is if you have anxiety, if you have sleep issues, or if you are doing late night workouts. So if you suffer with anxiety, then this could potentially make it worse. If you are suffering with sleep issues, you want to try excuse me, and kill the sleep issues first. And like I said, not mask it with the pre-workout. The pre-workout is not a magic pill. At the end of the day, you need to make sure that you're covering good hydration, good sleep, and good nutrition instead of masking it with pre-workout. And you should avoid taking pre-workout late at night, because if you take it for like an evening session at 8 or 9 o'clock at night, you aren't going to be able to get to sleep. So super important, it's around timings. So just to fully summarize what we've spoken about in terms of pre-workout, from my experience, I think it is massively overhyped. But what is actually helpful is caffeine. So citrulline malate, beta-alanine with consistent use. You need to watch out for proprietary blends, excessive stimulants, artificial colors and sweeteners. And you should only generally use it for if you're training early in the mornings, if you've got low energy days, and you should avoid it if you've got anxiety, sleep issues, or if you're training late at night. So before I move on to protein powders, if you guys have got any other questions, please put them in the chat. Please like the live, guys, if you guys have found this useful so far. In terms of what we've just run through as a quick summary, before I move on to protein powders, firstly, we ran through creatine. So from my side, the most proven supplement. So this improves strength, power, and muscle recovery. It's got fantastic cognitive benefits. You can take creatine. I would always recommend to take creatine monohydrate. It is the most cheapest and most researched type of creatine. You don't need to go into any other creatine areas. Creatine monohydrate is the best. 3 to 5 grams daily is all that you need, depending on if you're male or female. I take 5 grams a day with my shake in the mornings. The timing doesn't matter, so it's consistency, taking it every day instead of timings. And then we've spoken around a couple of common myths. So it causes bloating. If this does, this is usually down to you're taking too much, especially if you are doing a loading phase. Remember, you don't need to do a loading phase. All it will is just saturating your muscles a week or two faster. as opposed to you taking 5 grams of creatine each day. Also as well, if you are suffering from bloating, you need to drink more water, but just space this out throughout the day. 2 to 3 litres of water each day is more than enough. And then another common myth for creatine is it's only good for bodybuilders. That is completely false. For everyone who is in health and fitness, they should be taking it. If you're male and female, and even if you don't go to the gym, you should take creatine because it's got a lot of fantastic cognitive benefits. So then we just moved into pre-workout. So we've spoken a little bit around, from my side, how it's a little bit overhyped, but then I've spoken a bit around what you should be looking out for, who should be using it, and who should be avoiding it. So what we're going to be speaking about next is protein powders. So protein powders are great for convenience, but they are not magic. Please, please, please remember that. If you guys are going to remember one thing from this live today, is protein powders are there for convenience, but they are not magic. So why should you use protein powder? You should use protein powder because it's going to be helpful in hitting your daily protein target, and it's fantastic for post-workout or to help you as a meal replacement throughout the day. Thank you, Tom, for joining. Tracy, great to see you guys. We're currently speaking about protein powders in terms of supplements at the moment. There's different types of protein. So whey isolate, plant-based blends that you guys can use. In terms of my experience with protein powders, I have used mass gainers before. What I would recommend is do not ever take mass gainers if you are thinking about taking protein. Mass gainers are just full of a shit ton of sugar, and all they're going to do is just give you really bad stomachache. So super important from my experience to take a whey protein, like a whey isolate. I take a whey isolate because it's got a higher protein content, but it's got a low sugar content. So really, really important as well that you have something that's got high protein, low sugar and low carbs, because then that's not going to upset your tummy. When I used mass gainers previously, Jesus Christ, it was not good. It was not great. So stay on the whey isolate. Remember, it's there for convenience. It's not magic. I have my protein in the morning because I have a breakfast smoothie alongside my creatine in the mornings. That already sets me up for success throughout the day to hit my protein target. However, do not use protein powder as your single source of protein to hit your protein target. Main reason for this is you want to get protein actually from real food. Remember, it's there to support, it's not there to replace. Super, super important when it comes to taking protein powder. You've got some other different aspects of protein around plant-based blends as well. From my side, as long as they are low calorie, high protein intake, then you are all good. From my experience, I personally think that you should pay a little bit more for a better protein quality, because if you are taking it every day, then you want to make sure that it's not upsetting your tummy, it's not giving you any bad side effects. I always have found with a cheaper sort of protein, even if it is whey protein, then sometimes it's not great. So don't go cheaper on protein. Think about it. If you're taking it every day, just spend a little bit more money, and you don't want it upsetting your stomach. So always pay a little bit more for that quality. With creatine, as long as it's monohydrate, it's absolutely fine. It doesn't matter the branding or where you get it from. it's nice and simple. Protein is a little bit different. In terms of how much you should be taking, so I have around 30 grams of protein per serving. So that's generally what I will have in my morning shake or post-workout. And really important to remember that you guys don't need to be having protein, excuse me, every 2 to 3 hours. Your total daily intake matters more than timing. So, easiest way to explain this is, I am 82 kilos, which means I'm 180 pounds. 180 pounds, I need to have around 1 gram per pound of body weight. So I need to have 180 grams of protein each day. As long as I have 180 grams of protein throughout the day, it doesn't matter if I split that into 1, 2, or 3 meals with my post or morning shake. As long as you have it, that's super, super important. And remember that food first, shakes are a tool, they're not a requirement. So we're next going to be talking about electrolytes. So I think these are super underrated for performance. So electrolytes, what they do is they are great for hydration, muscle contraction, they prevent cramps and fatigue. I personally think electrolytes are one of the most underrated supplements for performance. You need to start taking electrolytes if you haven't already. And this is great for the gym. This is great if you're doing a lot of cardio as well. So the people who need electrolytes are the people who sweat a lot, because it's going to be great in terms of hydration, muscle contraction, and preventing cramps and fatigue. If you're sweating a lot, then you could be becoming dehydrated. That then means that you're going to get cramps and fatigue. That's why electrolytes are fantastic. You need them if you are a heavy sweater, as I've mentioned. If you are in a hot climate, if you're doing long walks, or if you are on a low-carb diet. What to look out for when you're choosing your electrolyte brand. Sodium is key, potassium, magnesium, and make sure that it has minimal sugar in the per serving, unless you are doing endurance training. Super, super important. So what to skip? This is a super key topic. What to skip? So this is where you guys are going to save your money. Where you guys don't need to spend your money on this is around fat burners. Fat burners are a complete waste of time. The best thing for you guys to do is to make sure that you tie up and really nail down your nutrition and hydration. If you nail down your nutrition and your hydration, you don't need to worry about fat burners. Fat burners are not going to be a magic pill. Super, super important to remember. Nothing beats having solid nutrition. Super, super important. You also as well don't need to take testosterone boosters. A complete waste of time. Detox teas. Again, complete waste of time. Anything that promises you guys instant results from my side as a supplement is a complete waste of time. At the end of the day, it takes hard work, dedication, and consistency to see results. And there are no shortcuts. So taking fat burners, testosterone boosters, detox teas, anything promising that gives you instant results, it's all a lie and it's all a promotional kick. So, in terms of what we've spoken about today, we've run through supplements, what is worth taking. So, we firstly spoke about the supplements basics, the bigger picture, what supplements can do so they can improve performance, support recovery, fill nutrition gaps. What they can't do is they can't fix poor sleep, diet, or inconsistent training. We then spoke about creatine, pre-workout, protein and electrolytes. We then moved into creatine, the most proven and researched supplement in the fitness industry. It's fantastic to improve strength, power, muscle recovery. It's got fantastic cognitive benefits. A lot of people don't know this, so even if you don't go to the gym, you should still be taking creatine just for the cognitive benefits. It's super, super important. How to take it? Use creatine monohydrate. No need to use any other type of creatine. 3 to 5 grams per day. Your timing doesn't matter. Consistency over timing. If you're finding that you're getting bloated, lower your dose down. 3 to 5 grams a day is all that you need. If you're still getting bloating issues, make sure that you're drinking enough water throughout the day. We then moved into pre-workout. From my experience, don't hate on me, I think it's overhyped. What I think is actually useful is creatine, citrulline malate, betaine alanine with consistent use. You've got to watch out for proprietary blends, excessive stimulants, artificial colours or sweeteners if you are sensitive. You should only use pre-workout if you're training early in the morning, if you're having low energy days, and you should stay away from it if you've got anxiety, sleep issues, or if you're doing late night workouts. We then spoken around protein powders. They're convenient, not magic. They're great for hitting your protein target. They're easy to have post-workout or as a meal replacement. We then spoke around whey isolate, plant-based blends. We then spoke around what you should be having as a serving. I have around 30 grams per serving. Remember, your total protein intake matters more than timing. And remember to prioritize food first. Shakes are a fantastic addition, but they are not a requirement. We then moved into electrolytes. So they're fantastic for hydration, muscle contraction, and preventing cramps and fatigue. You need them if you're sweating loads during exercise, you're training in hot climates, you're doing long workouts, or you're on a low-carb diet. And what to look out for in your electrolyte supplement is sodium is key, potassium and magnesium, and minimal sugar content unless you're doing a lot of endurance training. What to skip in terms of your supplements is fat burners, testosterone boosters, detox teas, and anything promising instant results. So just as a wrap up, guys, that is a summary of what we've run through today. I want to thank you guys very much for taking the time on your Sunday afternoon, listening to me around my advice around supplements. If you guys have found the live helpful, please smash a like on the live. Please feel free, guys, as well, if you guys have got any questions, feel free to DM me afterwards. I'm more than happy to help you with any free advice that I can give you. I'm going to be doing my next live tomorrow evening at 7 p.m. So if you guys are interested in joining, please join me tomorrow on TikTok at 7 p.m. Have a lovely rest of the day, guys, and I shall speak to you guys tomorrow. See you later. Bye-bye.